Before we begin, listen closely. What you're about to learn tonight is not ordinary. Too many innocent people are fighting battles they don't understand, suffering attacks they cannot explain, and waking up from nights that were supposed to restore them, but instead leave them drained. But your story changes now. Welcome to Joshua Selman Wisdom, and I am here to open your eyes to a prophetic act that will seal your night, protect your dreams, and return every evil sent against you straight back to its sender. What you do before you sleep determines what happens while you sleep. And after tonight, no enemy will ever access your night again. The first thing you must understand is that the spirit realm becomes highly active between midnight and 3 in the morning. This is the hour when destinies are attacked, when groups summon evil spirits, when spiritual projections are sent, and when watching eyes try to penetrate the sleeping atmosphere of those they envy or hate. Many people wake up suddenly during these hours because their spirit is reacting to unseen activity. What feels like restlessness is often your spirit fighting for its own survival. Night attacks do not come from nowhere. They come from people who cannot face you physically but try to touch you spiritually. These individuals use jealousy as fuel and wickedness as a strategy. They know they cannot stop your blessings in the physical realm, so they try to intercept them in the invisible realm. They try to weaken your strength, confuse your mind, and plant fear in your dreams. That is why you must never go to bed spiritually empty. A spiritually empty person becomes an open door for the enemy to walk through. You also need to understand that monitoring spirits do not need your permission. If you don't secure your night, they simply step in. These spirits operate like spiritual cameras. They watch you, they follow you, they monitor unto your progress and report back to those who sent them. That is why some people experience dreams of being observed, watched, or followed. It is not their imagination. It is a sign that someone has opened the spiritual gate to study their life. But the moment you learn how to set a spiritual barrier, these spirits go blind instantly. The enemy understands that dreams are spiritual communication. Your dreams can reveal attacks, show warnings, expose enemies, or declare victory. That is why the enemy targets dreams. It is the easiest way to plant confusion or shake someone's spiritual foundation. People who constantly dream of defeat, failure, backwardness, or stagnation are not just unlucky. They are under attack. But once you activate the prophetic act I will reveal, the enemy will no longer have access to your dream world. Your night will become a place of revelation, protection, and divine visitation. Finally, you must understand that the reason God allows prophetic acts is because they seal the atmosphere. They send a message into the spirit world that your space is not available. Prophetic acts act like spiritual fences that cannot be crossed. When you prepare your night correctly, the enemy loses their landing ground. Their arrows scatter, their plans fail, their voices are silenced. And the same people plotting against you spiritually begin to experience the violent return of their own evil plans. This is why the prophetic act you are about to learn is so powerful. It closes every door the enemy has used against you. God has always used prophetic acts as a weapon to expose darkness and change spiritual atmospheres. In the Bible, simple physical actions carried massive spiritual consequences. Moses lifted a rod and an entire ocean opened. Joshua marched around walls and they collapsed without a single hammer. Elijah placed salt in water and an entire land was healed. These were not magic tricks. They were acts of obedience that activated divine power. In the same way, the prophetic act you are about to learn may look simple physically, but in the spirit realm, it is a declaration of war. The reason prophetic acts work is because the spirit realm responds to symbols. Darkness understands symbols. Angels understand symbols. And God himself uses symbols to deliver messages and judgments. When you perform a prophetic act, you are not trying to control the spirit world. You are aligning yourself with the spiritual laws God already set in place. You are announcing to every enemy watching you that your night is sealed. Your dreams are protected and your destiny is off limits. This is why prophetic acts carry such weight. They translate your spiritual authority into a visible sign that even demons must respect. Among all the spiritual symbols God uses, The sword of the Spirit is one of the most feared. It represents judgment, separation, and divine warfare. It is a weapon that cuts every monitoring cord, breaks every evil connection, and stops every spiritual attack. When the Bible describes the word of God as sharper than any two-edged sword, it is not just poetic language, it is spiritual truth. The sword is the emblem of divine justice. It is the symbol hell fears. And the prophetic act we are building toward uses this very sword as its foundation. But not as a weapon of violence, rather as a weapon of spiritual authority. In the realm of the spirit, the sword is not metal. It is not physical. It is symbolic of a divine decree. When you activate a spiritual sword, you are calling on God to judge every wicked plan raised against you. You are placing yourself under the authority of heaven. And the moment the spiritual sword is recognized in your atmosphere, demons retreat, spells break, altars collapse, and every evil projection loses its direction. This is why the prophetic act involving the symbolic sword under your bed will cause your enemies to run mad. It is not the paper that frightens them, but the spiritual message it carries. And this is why God often instructs his children to use physical things to represent spiritual truths. It is not the object that carries the power. It is the meaning behind it. When you draw the sword, fold it, write the decree and place it under your bed, you are not performing a strange ritual. You are establishing a spiritual law. You are saying no evil crosses here. You are declaring judgment over every enemy plotting in the dark. And as soon as that prophetic symbol touches your sleeping area, the entire spiritual environment shifts in your favor. The power is not in the paper, it is in the authority the act represents. Now listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal is the exact prophetic act that will change your entire night. This is not something you guess, improvise, or change. This is a spiritual instruction that must be followed step by step. Before you sleep tonight, you will create a symbolic sword, not a weapon, not a knife, but a spiritual picture of the sword of the Spirit, the weapon heaven recognizes and hell fears. This act is safe, biblical, and spiritually powerful because it does not depend on metal. It depends on meaning. To begin, take a plain sheet of paper. It can be white, brown, or slightly colored, as long as it is clean and unused. On this paper, draw a simple outline of a sword. The shape does not need to be perfect. It does not need to look like art. What matters is your intention. As you draw it, understand that you are creating a prophetic symbol, a declaration that your night is protected by divine justice. The outline represents authority. It represents judgment. It represents a spiritual warning to any enemy attempting to enter your night. Once you finish drawing the sword, take a pen, black or blue, and write inside the sword these exact words. Let every evil sent against me return to the sender by fire. Write it slowly, write it with intention. Write it knowing that the spirit realm recognizes written decrees. These words are not ordinary words. They are judgment words. They are spiritual laws. They are a declaration that every curse, every projection, and every monitoring spirit that tries to rise against you will collide with the fire of God and return to the sender multiplied. After writing the decree, fold the paper exactly 3 times. One fold to shut the door of monitoring spirits, a second fold to seal the entry points of witchcraft projections, and a third fold to call for divine judgment against every hand lifted against your life. Folding it 3 times is not for beauty. It is for completion. 3 represents establishment. 3 represents a final seal. When you fold it, you are closing every gap in the spirit where the enemy once entered. After folding the paper, take it with your right hand and declare these words aloud with boldness and authority. This is the sword of the Lord. My night is sealed. My dreams are protected. Let every evil sent to me return to its sender by fire. As you speak these words, the spiritual sword becomes active. Angels recognize the decree. Darkness recognizes the warning. You are no longer just going to sleep. You are entering a spiritually guarded territory where no evil spirit is allowed to enter. Now Gently lift your mattress or the corner of your bed and place the folded paper directly beneath the area where your head will rest. Do not place it under your feet. Do not place it at the edge. The head is the seat of dreams, visions, and spiritual instructions. The head is where attacks target. By placing the spiritual sword under your head's position, you declare that your mind, dreams, and destiny are untouchable. You place divine judgment at the exact entrance point the enemy has used to attack you. Once the sword is placed under your bed, do not unfold it, do not check it, do not move it until morning. Leave it there as a spiritual guard, a prophetic signal, a divine alarm that remains active while you sleep. As you lay down, say softly, tonight, no evil shall cross this boundary. When you say this, the atmosphere freezes, the spirit realm shifts. Every projection fired against you is intercepted. Every evil eye loses sight. Every monitoring spirit becomes blind. Every witchcraft arrow turns back with violent force. Midnight becomes the moment of their downfall, not yours. While you sleep, heaven will enforce the decree. Angels will stand watch. Your dreams will be shielded. Your spirit will be strengthened. And every person attempting to attack you spiritually will feel the return of their own evil. Some will wake up with confusion. Some will wake up with fear. Some will wake up restless, tormented, or mentally shaken because the judgment meant for you returned to them by divine law. This is the prophetic act, safe, biblical, powerful, recognized in the spirit realm as a declaration of back to sender judgment. The moment you place the symbolic sword under your bed, the entire atmosphere of your room changes. What was once open becomes sealed. What was once vulnerable becomes strong. What was once an easy passageway for spiritual attackers becomes a battlefield guarded by divine fire. In the spirit realm, your room is no longer seen as ordinary. It becomes marked, fenced, and spiritually electrified. Any evil spirit attempting to cross the line immediately meets resistance because the sword of the Lord is now standing as a barrier between you and every wicked projection. As you sleep, the sword works like a spiritual alarm system. If any enemy mentions your name in a dark gathering, the alarm activates. If anyone attempts to pull your spirit into a dream attack, the alarm activates. If anyone tries to send confusion, sickness, fear, or monitoring spirits into your atmosphere, the alarm activates. And the moment it activates, demons lose their way, projections scatter, curses reverse, and angels rise with weapons drawn. This is why the prophetic act is so feared in the realm of darkness, because the sword does not negotiate. It responds with judgment. Another thing that happens is that your dreams begin to change. Before, your dreams were gateways for attack, but now your dreams become gates of revelation. Where the enemy used to plant fear, you begin to receive clarity. Where you used to see shadows, you begin to see warnings. Where you used to be chased, you begin to stand victorious. The prophetic sword blocks evil dreams and opens spiritual visions. That is why many people who perform this act experience sudden moments of revelation. Dreams that reveal who their enemies are. Dreams that expose hidden plots. Dreams that show what God is preparing for them. The sword under your bed also breaks every spiritual mirror used to monitor your life. Evil people often depend on spiritual mirrors, bowls of water, candles, or chants to trace your progress. But the moment this prophetic sword is activated, every mirror they use cracks in the spirit. Every tracking method becomes blind. Every attempt to watch your destiny collapses. And the very people who once watched you begin to lose spiritual access. They start experiencing confusion, restlessness, and breakdown because the sword has cut off their connection to your life completely. In the physical realm, you may feel peace, rest, and deep sleep. But in the spirit realm, a war is happening on your behalf. Angels are moving, evil plans are being reversed, hidden curses are being returned. The sword causes back to sender results without you raising a finger. While your body is resting, your spirit is protected and your destiny is being defended. By morning, the results begin to show. Your mind feels lighter, your dreams feel clearer, your home feels cleaner, and your spirit feels stronger. This is not imagination. This is the reaction of heaven to a prophetic decree. And the final thing that happens after performing this act is that your enemies begin to feel the consequences of their own wickedness. Those who projected evil at night wake up with fear, confusion, headaches, trembling, or sudden instability. Their rituals backfire. Their curses return. Their monitoring spirits fail. They lose the strength they once used to fight you. Some will avoid you. Some will distance themselves. Others will expose themselves through strange behavior. When the sword of the Lord enters your night, your enemies cannot remain comfortable. Their darkness collapses under divine judgment. Now that the prophetic sword is under your bed, you must activate it with your own voice. Your words are spiritual keys, and when spoken with authority, they lock every door the enemy wants you to get into your life. Stand beside your bed for a moment before lying down and declare boldly, my night is sealed. My atmosphere is secured. No evil spirit will step into my territory tonight. As you speak, angels align themselves with your declaration, and the spiritual sword beneath your head becomes fully charged with divine authority. After this, lay you right hand gently on your pillow, because the pillow represents your mind, your thoughts, your dreams, and your spiritual gateway. Then declare, my dreams are protected. My spirit is untouchable. My destiny is guarded by the fire of the Lord. These words shift the energy of the room instantly. They cause the entire atmosphere to vibrate with divine presence. And the moment these words are spoken, any spirit that tries to approach you in the night becomes paralyzed, blinded, and overpowered by heavenly fire. Now you must speak judgment against every hand lifted against your life. Say with authority, every curse sent against me returns to its sender. Every monitoring spirit goes blind. Every evil projection backfires. Every enemy attacking me tonight will meet the sword of the Lord. When these words leave your mouth, they become spiritual laws. They travel into the unseen realm and take apart every plan that was designed to work against you. You are not whispering into the air. You are giving commands that the spirit realm must obey. Then speak directly to the prophetic sword under your bed, because symbols respond to words. Say, sword of the spirit, stand guard over my night. Let no evil cross this boundary. Let every attack be reversed. Let every enemy run mad under the weight of their own wickedness. When you speak this, the sword becomes active, alive, and spiritually awakened. It stands as a barrier, a shield, a judge, and a firewall around your sleeping place. Demons recognize it instantly and retreat before they even get close to your bed. And finally, before closing your eyes, speak these words softly. I sleep under divine protection. Tonight I lie down in peace. Tonight the Lord himself fights for me. As soon as you declare this, your spirit sinks into rest. Your mind becomes calm and your dreams become secured by heaven. No evil will touch you. No RSC will reach you. No projection will succeed, because your night is no longer an open field. It is a spiritually fortified battleground where the enemy loses every time. This is the final activation that seals the prophetic act with unstoppable power. Now that you have performed the prophetic act, you must not go back to sleeping blindly. This is the moment you remain spiritually alert. Because once your night becomes strong, the enemy will attempt to test the boundary. Do not fear. This is normal. When darkness meets resistance, it fights back, but it cannot win. Stay aware, stay prayerful, stay sensitive to the changes happening around you. Every night from this moment forward, make it your duty to speak over your atmosphere before you sleep. A guarded night produces a victorious morning. I want you to pay attention to what begins to happen over the next few days. You will notice that certain people suddenly stop contacting you. Others will appear uncomfortable around you. Some will act strangely or speak wrongly without realizing why. This is not coincidence. This is exposure. When the sword under your bed began to work, every hidden enemy attached to your life became spiritually unsettled. The light of God is now shining into every dark corner connected to your destiny. Watch carefully, because anyone who has been projecting against you will begin to reveal themselves through their behavior. And I want you to protect your atmosphere daily. Do not allow fear, anger, or worry to enter your night. Do not argue before bed. Do not carry emotional heaviness into sleep. Speak peace, speak protection, speak clarity. The same way you lock your doors physically, lock your doors spiritually. Declare over your home, no evil will cross this threshold. This keeps your night strong and prevents the enemy from gaining legal access to your dreams. Remember, spiritual battles are won through consistency, not occasional action. After performing the prophetic act, keep your spirit active. Play prayers as you prepare for bed if needed. Speak declarations as you cover yourself. If you sense heaviness or discomfort, address it immediately. Say, the night is sealed, no evil crosses here. Your words are spiritual weapons. Use them. This is how you remain in control of your atmosphere. This is how you maintain victory. This is how you make sure that the sword beneath your bed continues to stand as a barrier between you and every wicked plan formed against you. And if this prophetic act brings you peace, clarity, or breakthrough, do not keep it to yourself. Somebody out there is fighting silent battles. Somebody is waking up with nightmares. Somebody is being attacked in their sleep. Somebody is losing their destiny because their night is unprotected. Sharing this message may save a life. It may open someone's eyes. It may deliver a family. It may protect a child. It may stop an attack that has been destroying someone silently. When light is shared, darkness loses its power. Finally, remain spiritually disciplined. Continue guarding your sleep. Continue securing your atmosphere. Continue speaking over your night. And remember, the same God who watches you during the day is the same God who stands guard over your bed at night. When you perform this prophetic act, you are not calling on superstition. You are calling on divine judgment. You are declaring your night off limits. You are placing yourself under heaven's protection. As long as you remain spiritually awake, no enemy will ever defeat you in the night again. Sleep with confidence. Sleep with authority. Sleep knowing that the Lord himself is fighting for you. Now that we have established this foundation, let's speak about the days to come. You have placed the sword. You have spoken the W. Odds. You have sealed your atmosphere. But the journey from a place of attack to a place of permanent victory requires understanding what happens next. In the first few nights, pay close attention to your dreams. Do not be alarmed if you experience unusually vivid dreams, or if you remember them with startling clarity. This is not an attack. It is a sign of your spiritual senses awakening. The sword is not a blanket that smothers your dream life. It is a filter. It filters out the contamination, the fear, the confusion, the projections, and allows the pure communication, the warnings, and the revelations to come through. You may dream of doors closing, of old places you used to frequent, or of people whose faces are clear. Write these down upon waking. These are not random images. They are intelligence reports from the spirit realm, showing you what doors have been sealed in your life and who is connected to the attacks that are now being sent back. You might also experience a profound, heavy peace as you drift to sleep, a peace you haven't felt in years. This is the peace of a garrison, of a military guard standing watch while the citizens sleep safely inside the walls. Your spirit, which was always on high alert, can finally stand down because a higher divine authority has taken the watch. This deep sleep is your body and soul catching up on years of spiritual restlessness. Embrace it. Do not fight it by scrolling on your phone or overthinking. Simply receive it as the first fruit of your obedience. Now, let's talk about the reaction in the physical realm. The prophetic act you performed is not passive. It is actively judgmental. It does not merely defend, it prosecutes. It enforces a spiritual law of reciprocity. Whatever was sown against you is now being reaped by the sower. Therefore, do not be surprised by sudden strange behavior from people in your circle. Someone who was always calling you might suddenly go silent. A person known for gossip might abruptly change the subject when your name comes up. Someone who always seemed to have a subtle negative comment about your progress may now avoid eye contact or offer an unsolicited, awkward compliment. This is the backfire manifesting. The same spiritual cords they use to siphon your energy or monitor your life are now conducting a current of divine judgment back to them. They feel a heat, a discomfort, a spiritual agitation they cannot explain, and their natural reaction is to withdraw from the source of that discomfort, which is you, because you are now surrounded by a firewall. You must be spiritually mature here. Do not reach out to confront them. Do not ask, why are you acting strange? This is not the time for physical confrontation. It is a time for silent spiritual observation. Their withdrawal is a confirmation that the sword is working. Your silence is your strength. Let the spiritual process complete its work. By confronting them prematurely, you might interrupt the process of exposure and return. Also, guard your own words and emotions during the day. The enemy, realizing his nightly access is cut off, will try to create openings during your waking hours. He will try to provoke you to anger, to offense, to fear, or to make rash decisions. If he can get you to carry a heavy, ungodly emotion to bed, he tries to create a legal crack in your spiritual fence. Remember, you walk in authority now. The moment you feel that surge of anger or that cloud of anxiety, address it immediately with your words. Say aloud, I cancel this spirit of anger. I refuse to carry this into my night. My atmosphere is sealed by the blood and the fire. Speak to your own soul and command it to align with the peace you have established. Do not give the enemy any material to work with. Now, let's talk about maintenance. The sword under your bed is a spiritual decree, not a magical charm. Its ongoing power is sustained by your consistent faith and your verbal authority. It is not a set it and forget it trick. Every night before you sleep, renew the decree. You don't need to draw a new sword every night, but stand by your bed and reaffirm the boundary. Say, the sword of the Lord remains active. My night remains sealed. I sleep in the peace of God. This daily declaration is like resetting a powerful security system. It tells every spiritual entity that your vigilance has not waned, that your authority is still in effect. After a period, perhaps a week, perhaps 40 days, you may feel led to remove the original paper. Do this thoughtfully, not casually. In the morning, not at night. Reach under your bed and retrieve it. Do not unfold it. Hold it in your hands and thank God for the victory, protection, and revelations granted during that season. Then destroy it. The most biblical way is to burn it safely, letting the smoke carry the finality of the decree. As it burns, declare, every assignment against me is now ashes. My victory is complete. If burning is impossible, tear it into small pieces and dispose of it away from your home. This act symbolizes that the season of that specific warfare is over. The judgment has been fully executed. You can then, if led, create and place a new decree for a new season, perhaps with a different scriptural focus, like I sleep in divine health, or my household is a haven of angelic presence. Finally, remember the ultimate purpose of all this, not just for your own peace, but for your elevation. A restless spirit is a powerful spirit. A protected mind is a creative mind. When you stop fighting defensive battles every night, you free up immense spiritual and mental energy for your destiny. You begin to dream gods, dreams for your future. You receive ideas, strategies, and blueprints in the place of rest. Your night becomes a workshop for your purpose, not a battlefield for your survival. So walk forward from this moment with a new consciousness. You are not a victim of the night. You are a governor of your atmosphere. You have been given the tools and the authority to establish a zone of divine protection and justice around your life. The same God who commanded Joshua to be strong and courageous is commanding you to stand firm in the victory he has orchestrated. Your night is now your sanctuary. Your bed is now an altar of rest. And your sleep is now a weapon that weakens your enemies and strengthens your destiny. This is your new reality. Live in it, sleep in it, and watch as the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, stands guard over your heart, your mind, and your entire life from this day forward. Let's go deeper into what this new life of protected peace truly unlocks. You have secured your night. The frantic defensive battles are ceasing. But heaven's goal was never just to give you a quiet night's sleep. It was to reposition you from a posture of constant reaction to a platform of powerful, purposeful action. The energy, creativity, and spiritual clarity you were spending just to survive the darkness are now being returned to you as capital for your destiny. Think of your spirit like a brilliant, high-powered server. Before, it was completely overwhelmed by denial of service attacks, constant malicious spiritual pings that crashed your system every night, forcing you to spend all your daylight hours just rebooting and running basic security patches. You were stuck in maintenance mode. But now, with those attacks firewalled and sent back to their source, your server is finally free. It can now run the complex, beautiful, world-changing programs it was designed for. You will start to notice this in practical ways. You'll wake up with solutions to problems that stumped you for weeks. You'll have sudden, clear ideas for that project you've been putting off. A sense of divine strategy will begin to flow into your thoughts during the day, as if your spirit, finally rested, is now syncing perfectly with heaven's frequency. This is what it means to have your night workshop operational. God downloads blueprints in the peace of the night, and you awake with the energy and mental clarity to build them by day. Now, let's address a critical point: the temptation to inspect the battle. When a general knows his fortifications are strong, he doesn't spend his nights peering over the walls trying to see if the enemy is still out there. He rests in his tent, trusting the guards and the walls. In the same way, you must resist the temptation to spiritually peek at what the sword is doing to your enemies. Do not lie in bed trying to visualize their confusion or their punishment. Do not let your mind wander into fantasies of revenge. That mental activity is a lower vibration. It can actually create a sympathetic cord that weakens the firewall. Your victory is secured by your rest, not by your morbid curiosity. Your job is to sleep in trust. God's job is to execute justice. Leave the details of the enemy's downfall to him. Your focused thought should be on the peace of God and the promises over your own life. There will also be a test of your new boundaries, because your spiritual address has changed. You've moved from vulnerable street to fortified heights. Old spiritual parasites will try to find you. This may manifest as unexpected, intense dreams about people from your distant past, or a sudden, overwhelming wave of emotion during the day about an old, settled conflict. See this for what it is: a final, desperate probe. They are trying to locate you through old, familiar, emotional, and spiritual pathways. Your response is simple and authoritative. Speak to that old memory or sudden emotion: you have no landing place here. I am sealed in a new season. Be disconnected and sent back in Jesus' name. Do not entertain the thought. Do not dwell on the memory. Dismiss it like an unauthorized visitor at a secure gate. This brings us to the stewardship of your new spiritual environment. A clean, spiritually fortified room is a treasure. Treat it as the sanctuary it has become. Be mindful of what you allow into that space, not just spiritually, but physically and emotionally. The movies you watch in bed, the conversations you have on the phone while lying there, the music you fall asleep to. Let these things align with the peace you've established. Let your bedroom be a place of worship, of wholesome rest, of healthy intimacy, and of divine communion. This physical discipline reinforces the spiritual decree. You are curating an atmosphere where God's presence is welcome and antagonistic spirits find nothing to relate to. Finally, understand that this breakthrough is not just for you. It's a generational key. You are breaking a pattern. You are establishing a new normal for your bloodline. The restlessness, the night terrors, the pattern of being spiritually sabotaged in your sleep, this cycle ends with you. Your children, should you have them, will inherit a legacy of peaceful nights and protected dreams. Your testimony of deliverance becomes a spiritual law of protection over your household. This is why your consistency matters so much. You are not just guarding a night, you are founding a dynasty of rest. So as you move forward, let your posture be one of grateful confidence. You are not hiding from the darkness. You are illuminated in a fortress of light so bright that darkness cannot even approach. Your sleep is now a prophetic act in itself, a declaration that you are so secure in your Father's care that you can afford to be unconscious and vulnerable, knowing with absolute certainty that He never sleeps nor slumbers in His watch over you. The battle for your night is over. The season for building your day has begun. Walk into it with your head high, your heart light, and your spirit fully charged, ready to receive and manifest everything that was waiting for you on the other side of that relentless spiritual warfare. Your morning has come. What we have established is a new baseline, a spiritual equator of zero disturbance. From this line of peace, your entire life's climate begins to change. But understand, the enemy does not concede territory forever. He studies patterns and he will attempt a new strategy. His next attack will not be against your sleep because that gate is shut. It will be against your belief in the victory itself. He will send whispers of doubt in the daylight. Did that really work? Or was it just your imagination? You're still facing the same problems in your waking life. Nothing has changed. This is the most subtle and dangerous assault of all, for it aims to disarm you psychologically and make you abandon the very protocol that secured your peace. You must preempt this. You must build a monument in your mind. In the Old Testament, when God gave Israel a great victory, they would often build an altar of stones and name it. So when their children ask, what do these stones mean? They could recount the story of deliverance. Your spirit needs this same monument. Your monument is your testimony of the first peaceful night. Recall the specific details, the heaviness of the peace, the quality of the rest, the clarity of a dream, the simple joy of waking up refreshed. Write it down in a journal. Date it. That is your Ebenezer, your stone of help. When the whisper comes, did anything really change? You do not argue with the whisper. You simply visit your monument. You read your own testimony. You declare, thus far the Lord has helped me. Your own recorded experience is an unassailable truth that silences the accuser. Now, let's talk about the overflow of a guarded night into your waking authority. There is a direct link between the quality of your rest and the authority of your voice. A spirit that is perpetually harassed and fatigued speaks from a place of survival. Its words are often reactive, defensive, or laced with anxiety. But a spirit that is deeply rested, that has been bathed in the peace of God all night, speaks from a place of dominion. Its words carry a different weight. You will notice this. In a conflict, a sentence will come to you that is calm, piercing, and final. In a moment of decision, an inner directive will arise that is clear and unshakable. This is the kingly anointing that emerges from a place of divine rest. Your words become less about explaining yourself and more about establishing reality. This is the birth of true spiritual authority in your daily life. But with this new authority comes new responsibility. You are now a steward of a clean, powerful atmosphere. This means you must become acutely aware of spiritual pollution. Just as you wouldn't bring trash into a freshly cleaned and consecrated room, you must be discerning about what you allow into your spirit during the day. This includes the conversations you linger in, the media you consume, the environments you tolerate. It's not about legalism. It's about protecting the purity of the frequency you now carry. That deep peace you cultivated at night can be diluted by a day spent in gossip, strife, or fear-based entertainment. Guard your day as diligently as you have learned to guard your night. Your entire 24-hour cycle is now a sacred ecosystem. There is also a phase of divine recovery that will begin. For years, perhaps you lost spiritual, mental, and emotional ground every night. Think of it as a constant slow leak. That leak is now plugged. The healing process is not just about feeling better. It's about the recovery of lost territory. You may find old passions resurfacing. Creative dreams you thought were dead will begin to stir. Emotional resilience you feared was gone will return. This is the restitution phase promised in Scripture. The years the locust has eaten are being restored, but restoration is a process. Don't be frustrated if everything doesn't snap back into place at once. Appreciate each return fragment, a moment of joy, a surge of hope, a healed memory, as evidence that the restoration engine is running. Finally, let's speak of your role in the larger spiritual landscape. You are no longer just a survivor. You are a beacon. Your life, operating from a foundation of unshakable peace, becomes a living testament and a practical demonstration to others trapped in nocturnal warfare. Someone in your family, your workplace, or your circle is suffering silently, waking up exhausted, feeling spiritually assaulted. Your simple, unwavering peace will become a question mark in their life. They will ask, how are you so rested? How do you have such clarity? This is your divine appointment. You are not to preach at them, but to offer them the technology. You can say, I learned how to seal my night. Would you like me to show you? Your testimony becomes a key that unlocks someone else's prison. So continue. Do not grow weary in maintaining the decree. See it not as a chore, but as the daily honoring of a covenant between you and God. A covenant where He promises to be your vigilant God, and you promise to steward the peace He gives. The sword under your bed is more than a symbol. It is a covenant marker. You have crossed over. The wilderness of restless nights is behind you. You now dwell in a land where your sleep is sweet, your dreams are clear, and your waking hours are charged with purpose. This is your promised rest. Occupy it fully, defend it joyfully, and from this place of profound strength, build the destiny you were always meant to live. The war for your night is won. Now, go and win the war for your day.